The cold school
turned
beauty
into
at
the
my
doll
desk
I hugged
every night.
Lin
On the
Qianyue
first day back,
suddenly spoke
she
to
asked
me.
if I could stop hugging
My doll while sleeping.
confused. So
I
that
was
night,
completely
she
even
blushed harder.
said that hugging
The next morning,
her was fine, but not so
I
tightly.
had a
strange habit. Every
night I needed to
sleep while holding a soft doll,
or I felt unsafe.
The
That
doll
night,
smelled sweeter
than usual, like a clean jasmine
scent I could
not place. I thought
My mother had
changed the laundry detergent.
fell
Soon
asleep
I
and
had an embarrassing dream
about my cold classmate Lin
We had
Qianyue.
sat
Together for 2.5 years,
but barely spoken. At school, she
was already
her
at
seat, and I was too
to look
awkward.
at
Her. Then she
asked again, a quiet voice,
I
whether
could stop
hugging the doll at night.
asked
I
why it
mattered since I was
not hugging her. Her face instantly
turned
red. After
evening study. I went home, saw the doll on my bed. I
her
remembered
strange warning,
the idea of a camera in my
room was ridiculous, so I ignored
it. After showering, I hugged the doll.
again. Noticed
Familiar
that
scent and
stubbornly
would
decided
hug
that
it even more that
I
night.
dreamed of.
Lin Qianyue again,
I woke up
ashamed,
a
wondering
pure
how
18-year-old
could
dream such
scenes I could
at
not
school.
face her, but
She was avoiding
my eyes too.
boy
Uh,
teased us
and asked if we were dating.
we both shouted
No at
same time,
which only made everything worse. Qianyue
Later,
called
Lin
my
name politely
like
the
nothing
girl.
in my dream.
She said she had already told
Me not to hug the doll. I asked how she even knew.
A long
After silence, she said, "What if the person you hugged that
night was actually
me?"
Of course,
I did not
believe
She
her.
raised her.
Then
arm and let me smell it. The scent was exactly the same as my doll.
she calmly said,
This proved she was telling the truth. At that moment,
I finally
the
realized
unbelievable
every
truth
night
you had
Lin
been turning into my doll, and I had been holding her while sleeping.
I asked when it had started.
She said, it began around the last school break, meaning I had been hugging a real girl for more than 10 nights. Then I suddenly remembered
I
that
often changed
clothes in my
room.
her face turned even redder as she
Apologized.
tried
She
to
had
warn me,
but
I had ignored
her friend request
because her profile looked like a scam account.
she did not
know why she became my doll every night. She suggested I try hugging a different doll.
That night I
put the original doll on the living room sofa, thinking
would
it
be more
comfortable for
her than chose
another doll from
the
closet. The next day, I secretly asked if she still transferred over.
She
Nodded. No matter which doll I hugged appeared inside that one. I promised to try sleeping without any doll, but I failed completely. I tossed and turned all
and
night. Arrived at school with dark circles. Lin Qianyue looked at me with pity and told me I could keep hugging the doll as long as
did
I
not hold
it too tightly. The day passed in an awkward silence. Before leaving, I asked the embarrassing question.
She was
whether
already
an adult.
She said she had
Turned 18 last
month.
I laughed because the situation was
Too strange.
Then quickly ran home. That night I stared at the doll for a long time, prepared myself mentally and held it very gently. I whispered that If she had arrived, she did not need to
worry.
Suddenly, a
Soft
girl's voice came from the doll. I was so frightened that I threw it away. Lin Qianyue complained that it was her. Apparently, the reality had
At first,
changed again. She could not speak through the doll, and before school started, I could smell her scent. Now both things were possible. I joked that maybe the doll would grow hands and feet next. Ignored
and
my
told
nonsense to hurry up and hug her because we had to wake early tomorrow. I carefully picked up the doll and said good night. Breathing came soon from my arms. She fell asleep so calmly that I was the one who could not sleep. Her breathing and that familiar fragrance gave illusion of holding my future wife in a daze. I dreamed of her calling my name. The next morning, she kept telling me to wake up or I would be late, but I only hugged the doll tighter and told her to stop being noisy. Then my mother burst into the room and shouted that morning study started in 20 minutes. I rushed to school and barely made it on time. But Lin Qianyue's seat was empty when she finally arrived. She said she had overslept. Laughed at her. But she reminded me that she had stayed at my house until I woke up. Only then could she return to her own body. I apologized immediately. Then I had said she called my name all night. I tried to lie and said it was a dog in my dream. Repeated my exact words, and my excuse collapsed. I asked if she could feel me hugging her when she was a doll. In a tiny voice, she admitted that she could. I asked if she could feel me rubbing my face on it too. She hit my head with a textbook, but her shaking shoulders betrayed that she was secretly laughing. I gave her a bottle of milk. Soon someone called her outside. A crowd gathered. I followed with my milk and found Lin Qianyue standing before a handsome senior. He was young, the school heartthrob, and handsome, good at studying. Rich. He confessed to her in front of everyone. Lin Qianyue searched the crowd and her eyes landed exactly on me. Then she walked over, grabbed my hand, and told the senior she already liked someone. My face burned. Instantly, I wondered if or just an excuse. It was only said a reason to reject him and told me not to overthink it. Disappointed, but casual. Acted. Since she had teased me first, I decided to tease her back. I leaned closer. Her panic joked that her admirer was very handsome. She calmly replied that he was not as handsome as me. That one made me choke while she patted my back as if nothing had happened. After evening study, did not away. I wondered something. Finally, with red ears, she asked if I could stop leaving her on the sofa at night. She said my bed was softer and she would sleep better there. I choked on water. Was she asking to sleep in my room? My
with
heart
nervous
jumped.
excitement.
Putting the doll on my bed was almost the same as sleeping together. She nodded shyly and said dolls should sleep on
I
beds.
still
Could not hug too tightly that night. The moonlight reached the curtains. I stared at the doll, unsure what to do. The doll suddenly
that nobody
sleep
could.
while being stared
Switched
at
off the
I
light
and lay down carefully in the darkness. Her jasmine scent surrounded me, making the atmosphere far too intimate. I tried to stay calm and not seem improper. In my dream, I heard her sweet words again. When I woke up, I found my face buried in the doll. She teased me, saying I had drooled. Checked it was dry. She
tricked
had
me.
From that day on, our relationship
quietly
became
ambiguous.
soft. The college
Strange.
entrance
Getting
exam
close.
was Lin Qianyue
Still
transferred into the
every
doll,
night.
and
got
I
used to
with her in my
sleeping.
arms. I was anxious
Math,
because of, so she offered to tutor me. I joked
That she was being so
nice because she liked me. She only told
To
me
focus
on studying. Her explanations were clear, and
Grades
mine improved little.
little
The
by
exam on the night
she was
before,
reviewing
likely
me.
topics. I
with
listened to the top students'
my book
advice
began
and
sleeping.
before I held the doll gently and whispered, "Good luck." Lin
She
Qianyue
answered
softly.
Young
After
Guang,
2
good
busy
luck.
exam days, it was finally over. I had not seen
during
Lin
the exam
Qianyue
because
we were in different rooms. I walked out of school feeling relieved. But on the night of June 7th, she did not appear on my pillow anymore. My heart felt strangely empty. Maybe she was happy to return to normal and no longer be hugged by me every night. On June 10th, our class held a graduation party. I looked forward to it without knowing why. Maybe it would be the last time I saw her. Before everyone went separate outside the private room, I saw Lin Qianyue talking to Zhang Yan, and jealousy rose in my chest. Inside, another classmate confessing with flowers. Everyone cheered when his confession succeeded. Envied I suddenly that kind of mutual love. Lin Qianyue walked in, wearing a white dress, her long hair falling to her waist. She said, "Happy graduation." I smiled. She seemed to want to say something, but held back. Before leaving, I opened my and asked for one hug. Might not meet again. She nodded and hugged me. I breathed in that familiar scent and wished time could stop before parting. Touched my head the first time and told me her contact would never change. Later, I heard Lin Qianyue became the provincial top scorer and went to Beijing University. Her there too. Jiang Yan followed. Excellent people, seemed to gather around excellent people. I went to a good university. In the South, college
Not
life
as easy
was,
as I imagined.
Some days were even more
than
tiring.
high school.
At night,
Held my doll and
I
stared
in those
blankly.
days. Sometimes I remembered
Qianyue's calm
more
face,
beautiful
which
the
became
longer I
at it.
looked. I checked her social media, hoping she
Photo.
might post
I
it.
wondered
Still
if she
shining
was
brightly
one day
somewhere
a
from
senior.
my club confessed to me. I rejected, but she said we'd still be friends. I wanted to refuse that too, since we were in the same club. I did not want things to become awkward. My roommate teased for acting uninterested
Girls,
I said there
was an
in my
unforgettable
heart. He
moonlight.
thought I
and
was being dramatic. And when morning, Lin Qianyue messaged
me.
she had
I
heard
was at a university and said
happened
she
to be
the
in.
city
Asking
asking
if
if
time to
meet
I
out of
jumped bed and replied that I was completely free. My
Were
roommates,
shocked
as I excitedly told them
What
my moonlight
me
had
out.
asked after showering and changing clothes. I went to the cafe
we had
chosen. I tried to calm my racing heart before walking. Lin Qianyue looked when she heard. We stared at each other for a few seconds, then both turned away shyly. After I sat down, she said it had been a long time. I looked at her. Familiar face, not changed
She had
at
still
all.
Beautiful, that same
Still
soft
caring how
scent.
college life was. I said it
busy and
that I had
fulfilling,
made many
and
new friends. Asked whether
then
I
she
ever thought of her. My eyes lit. that she was so
I answered
pretty.
nervously.
Of course I remembered.
I asked about
and
her.
she looked at
me with clear, serious
阳光
eyes.
She said,
I missed you very much.
Her gentle words made
Face
my
burn.
Just
called
then,
my name.
someone
It
was the senior
confessed
who
to
had
me.
She
Lin
noticed
Tianyue
if
and
this was my
asked.
girlfriend. I quickly said no,
A high school
just
classmate.
visiting the city.
Senior left.
After
Lin
the
Tianyue
staring
kept
in
a
her
dangerous
direction
look.
with called her
I-
name, and she finally asked whether
A
I had
girlfriend, I said.
no. Then
That
she asked
senior
if
was pursuing me.
I explained that
Had
I
already rejected her. A
after
pause. Me and
Lin
asked,
Tianyue looked, "Can I pursue you?"
froze. Lin Tianyue
I was
looked me.
happy, shocked,
Too
and
nervous to
properly.
speak.
After struggling for
Long
a
time. Do
I
whatever
only
you
said,
want.
She laughed, and I
Added
quickly
that
since she
A
was
girl.
I should be the one pursuing
That
her.
day, we ate
A
together.
movie went to
watched
amusement
things
park,
young couples
and did
do
all
on
the
dates.
night. We booked 2 separate hotel rooms
Was
because
at
her
10 the
flight.
next morning.
I took her to the airport
and could not bear to
let go of her hand. I
Finally,
bent down and kissed her
cheek. Her
At
ears
once,
turned
I
red
buried
against
my
her
shoulder
face.
and
Should
said,
we
"We together now."
I did not
If
see it
today,
clearly. What if she
later,
regretted
she
it?
smiled and
Okay,
answered,
boyfriend.
"Visit
She
often."
promised she
Yet
would.
we
We
had
had to
just
separate.
reunited.
Again, my heart
I
felt
hugged her
empty.
tighter and
I
said,
could go
"So,
find her too.
When I returned to the
Dorm. I
I had
proudly
told my
girlfriend,
brothers,
and
she
immediately
congratulated
unforgettable
I
white
sat on my
moonlight
bed,
in the days, thinking how
everything
magical.
was.
Wanted
Yesterday,
to see
I
Lin
only
Tianyue would have been
enough.
But after we
Couple,
became
I wanted more.
wanted to
I
be with
the
her
time
all. While I was
lost in thought.
she
A
sent
voice
me
message. She called
me husband and
had not
admitted
come
she
to my
for
city
business at
had
all.
come
I
specifically
replayed
to
that word
find
again
me with my headphones on,
unable to stop smiling.
night
While
that
hugging my dog to
sleep.
I smelled the
Fragrance
familiar.
again.
I whispered
Tianyue's
Lin.
name.
The doll answered,
Husband.
"Yes,
It is me."
she
Had turned into my
I
doll
was so
again.
excited
It meant
we
because
might
to
not
suffer
have
through a long distance relationship, I had so
Safe,
much to
but my roommates
sleeping,
were
so I
dull
quietly
and
kissed
whispered.
the next day.
Good
I
times.
asked for
my
permission to live off
campus,
and it
then
was approved.
facing
No
Lin
longer
Tianyue
felt
as
as
embarrassing
as before.
every
Home
night
and
I
talked
came.
to her
What happened
endlessly
at school?
about.
She listened.
Quietly, I asked whether she
Disliked
would.
me for
She said
talking
no,
so much.
that everything
was
I said
interesting.
I joked that
Was
she
so sweet now.
had she
So
never
why?
talked to me. In high school, remembering her
Back
icy
then,
face,
I
honestly said she had looked like she wanted
stay away.
everyone. So I had
Never
dared to approach her. She admitted
did not like talking
people,
to,
but said I was
exception.
She liked
Voice.
listening to
I
my
laughed
was
and
fun to
realized
watch.
sweet
But even
romance.
when it happened to me, after graduating from university
And got our
Lin
marriage
Tianyue certificate, I posted
high
it
school
online.
classmate
Immediately
commented that he had
was
known there.
something between us back then. My
After
human-shaped
marriage,
pillow
Lin
asked
Tianyue
why
became
I
always
so good,
smelled.
whether it was
Or
perfume
detergent.
She looked
My
at lips and said it was a lover's fragrance that only I could smell. I laughed, pinched her waist, and kissed her. The next day, her cousin visited.
While Lin Tianyue was
He
cutting
secretly
fruit,
told me that
she had once called him to
ask how to chase
Boy,
up.
he had been shocked as
His quiet cousin
understood
had
love.
finally. He advised her to
confess directly
more Lin
before he
Tianyue
could
came
say
out.
fruit.
Sat between
Me, a
us,
toothpick,
handed
and
her
told
cousin. His mother was
him
calling.
home.
She said she and her husband needed private time.
Looking at the woman I
loved. I remembered
feared we would
graduation.
never
when
meet
I-
again.
Back then, I thought
Banquets
had ended.
Lin Tianyue told
But
me that
later, life is full of unexpected
our
reunions.
reunion happened because
chose
she
to run toward me first.